For my design, I did a snowman because I thought it would be fun to add details to the snowman and make it kind of crazy looking. My snowman is not that big and it's not that complicated. It should be pretty easy to sew, and then I'll have fun adding extra stuff to it. If you want to change a pattern that I made, you can take a design like this and you can always just draw the ears bigger. Or let's say these are eyes and it's a frog. You could add a third eye to make it some sort of a radioactive frog. You can change the pattern and then just make sure that you cut around your new lines, and this is a trick that I like to do if I don't want to use those lines, just to remind me that when I go to cut my pattern, I should use the lines that I've redrawn. You know what? I decided not to do the snowman. I thought it was too boring. Instead, I'm going to do this guy. It's going to be some sort of a crazy rabbit. These arms are about as skinny as I want to make them. My goal is to turn this guy inside out. And if I get much thinner than this, it's going to be difficult to push the fabric inside out. Remember, this design is incorporating a seam allowance so that when I actually go to sew it, my seam is going to be more around this distance from the edge. So he's actually going to be a little bit skinnier than he looks right now. Keep that in mind if you draw your own pattern. It's best to cut out your pattern so that you can see how much fabric you're using and if your fabric actually fits behind your pattern. As much as you can, try not to waste fabric. Put your pattern right up to the edge like this, right? So that you're cutting right along the edge of the fabric here, right along the edge of the fabric here, and it's a little bit wrinkly, but when I put the pins in it, my ear will be right along the edge here. Any extra fabric that we have, we can use for details like eyes and ears and hands and feet. Your next step is to pin your pattern onto your fabric. Not right where you're going to cut, but just to hold down the paper so that it's grabbing the fabric and it won't move. Here's how you do the pin close up. You want the fabric and the paper right together. You poke the pin through and it's just grabbing a little bit of fabric, and you keep it nice and horizontal and you push it back out like that. You don't have to grab all the fabric, just enough so that they're attached. I put the pins in it and now I'm ready to cut. I used only about 8 pins. I don't want to take too much time doing that because I'll just have to take them all back out and then cut another piece. Alright, I have that side cut out. I'm only halfway done. Now I'm going to take my pattern off and put it on another piece of fabric.
Is this right broken?
When you're not using the pins, make sure you put them back on the magnetic pin cushion or in your handmade pin cushion so that you don't lose them and can grab them easily later. Now I've got 2 sides of fabric for my bunny pattern. I don't really need my bunny pattern anymore, but if I want to keep it for a little while to help me, that's good. Make sure all your pins go back. Now we are going to start sewing. Once you cut out your pattern, you should watch the next video.